Hey everyone, how you doing today? Thought I'd show you a little bit of some new block work areas that I've been working on, and then try to texture part of it. Try to get something done here. Don't mind the flight deck, by the way. I kind of done screwed that up by working on the farm area, which I'm not very happy with right now. I'll show you that real quick. It's it's all right, I guess, but I was trying to implement some green into the mix, and with the lighting and stuff, and I had all this red blue through or bleed through, and it was just looking bad. And I still don't particularly like it, so the lighting's kind of off. My experiment with trying to put some green in here, this weird kind of puke green color, wasn't working out so well. I didn't really like the looks of it, so I gotta work on this, and I'm thinking about pushing this wall out on the farm asymmetrically this direction to give some more room for the farming area, which I think is fine. I also shifted all the farming around, so now we have this central corridor that comes through here and goes straight into the farming section, so it lines up and everything. And I had to like do some copying and pasting and move the entire ceiling around. And I got to finish tweaking the ceiling yet, so I kind of redid that. I also set up some other blocks to hide the grow plots, but I've got a lot of texture flaws and problems in this area yet. It's not really done, and the lighting's a little off, and everything's a little off on it yet, so it needs more work. But what I wanted to show you now is, and do some texturing on, is up in this top area. I've been working on a lot of block work in this section up to about this point here. So over here, we've got a double floor, like, I don't know, cafeteria. So you're going to have like a top floor here, and then you got a bottom floor, and there's a way to get up to the top floor by this staircase here. And then as you head this way, you've got your couple generators. This kind of ties in a little bit to some technical engineering areas. I've got the Great Pit over here. I got to figure out what to do with this area. I think this is going to be another little secret-y thingy. Might have some weird tunnels heading into this weird section. It's very hot. It's very nasty. It's in the back corner of the ship with a lot of big thrusters and cargo storage areas around the way. But these are kind of fun to figure out, like try to make it do something. And it's a really, awkward spot on the ship. And then this hallway basically comes down to the back of the ship, and there's kind of like another place over here. I don't know if it's going to have the tables. This might be more of a utility room, as it lines up to a couple of the flight deck doors on the back of the ship. Basically this one and this one here. In fact, I was half wondering if this part here shouldn't be some kind of shop or something. I'll have to figure that out. But what I wanted to do is start texturing this area over here and around the two generators that are kind of stacked up there too. Trying to make a interesting display of that in a weird place, and also try to, so you don't get fried. So I had to keep the block work to push you away from these. So walking down the hallways and stuff, obviously you don't get the heat and radiation and stuff like that. And this basically is going to be extending on down. I did want to have some separation. Some doors on the inside here to basically indicate different like shops that are along the flight deck here, and this kind of extends all the way to the front of the ship. I'll have to put another block in there where I got a damage block, get more of those in place too. Now in comments, Gehrman suggested that I can also run a whole big set of smaller solar panels in the ship, so you can run 48 total that way. And I've seen it done on other creations. I guess at least in the mode that I'm in right now. Oh no, it is letting me do it. Okay, never mind. So these are the small ones. All right, but in the past, when I tried to do this, it basically said, no, you have 24 solar panels and you can't put in this other one unless you kind of cheat and copy and paste it, which you can kind of fake it out and make it work that way. But it didn't let me just place them. So now it is. So yeah, I've got room. I'll work out a situation somewhere where I can dump in a bunch of these smaller solar panels as well. Now I haven't really worked on the solar area anymore since the last time I showed the ship and stuff like that, but just trying to work on other areas. Did a little bit of tweaks in some places. Hold on, I got to find my bearings here. There we are. Anyway, wanted to start texturing this area, so I figure I'd just start kind of from this back room. And I'm going to try to get the lighting in too, and the lighting is really important. And it takes some tweaking and stuff like that. But to start with the flooring in the ship, I've been doing a couple different things just to keep it split up a little bit. So what I'm thinking about doing in the flooring on this part of the ship is to have this outside area pretty much your base flooring, I guess, for the ship. So I'll kind of maybe run this across through here on these two rows, which will kind of fill that in decently. I'll try to get some accents on these on the flooring and stuff like that too, and I'll just keep this kind of running all the way up to where the blockwork stops for now. So we got a trim line there. Now the flooring on this part of the ship, except for maybe, let's just do this back corner the same, and then let's do different flooring here just to split it up. So what I'm going to do is I'll keep this same color. If you notice that there's a lot of colors, and I keep on adding more colors, like this is that weird puke green I was messing with, and it's just not really working out very well so far. But this is kind of like sort of a base color for a method of spraying up the floor. So what I'm going to do is I'll take this texture here with this color, and all the area I want this floor to be in, I'll just paint it all with that right now. So pretty simple. But then you got to go through a couple different more layers with it, essentially. So once that's done, then like all these little jaggy edge lines and stuff that I don't really like, how they flow and they don't really go anywhere. Once in a while I'll leave one here and there, but what I'm doing is I got this offset color over here, and then I'll replace a couple with this texture. Say we'll go like there, and there, and let's put another one here. And I do this pretty randomly, and basically you got to spray that first layer first so you can see your lines. And then after that, you kind of fill in some of those lines with some alternative textures. So then maybe I'll even put in a couple smooth pieces in the mix here. Let's get like one under the table somewhere. Oh, there it goes. How about two under the table? A little hard to, I probably shouldn't have put the tables in here. I don't even, honestly, I don't even know if I want tables here. I don't think that is an appropriate spot. And then got a couple left, and then I might go back to this one. And keep in mind, all these are kind of offset colors. Now, it's really wonderful if you can happen to get like a couple of these to line up and fit in the same formation. And sometimes I'll just kind of flip the textures around to see if they're capable of lining up in one way or another. Most of the time not, but once in a while I get lucky. So tell you what, I'm gonna just blop out one more of those and one more of these, and we'll keep like these two together. They sort of look like they kind of connect a little bit. So that's kind of the flooring. Now if I wanted to add in another color to the flooring, which is something I'm actually kind of thinking about doing here on this outer edge, in this case though, I'm gonna go to an offset, well, kind of a main color, and I'm gonna color some of these brighter just because I don't know, it's just adding a little bit of that contrast in. So now you got kind of two layers. You got kind of your main path, and you got kind of a border layer there. So we've got that. Now walls and things like that, and ceilings and all this little stuff. Now I was leaving these corners empty right now so I could put in like a med station and an O2 station there. Figured this is convenient enough. It's right off from the flight deck, or the back part of the flight deck of the ship. So let's, I don't want to put those in until I got this area kind of textured up though. I really wanted to put an angle block in here, but it's just like, I'd rather have that utility function, I think, in this case. So walls and things like that. Let's try to get some of this going too. Thinking about some red accents too, and I'm trying to figure out where I'd want to do red accents if I was going to do it. Maybe just across two walls and not the whole room or something like that. So what I'm going to do now, I've got these other, all these different reds now too, and I keep on, like I said, I'm almost running out of colors. I haven't messed with these two over here yet, but most of these other colors besides these two and maybe that one are custom now. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to this deep red, and I'm going to just paint some of it. Kind of, well, yeah, let's try it. Let's just try to go to there with it, or should I try to wrap it around the other side? How about a little bit? We'll see how it looks. So much of this is kind of playing by sight and what you think looks good at the end, rather than a particular process. So then I got an offset color here, which is a slightly lighter, and I'll use that for the same thing, kind of blending in some of these other textures, the ones that aren't full panels in places, and I could go with the smooth, or I could go with that other one, or even the rusty metal one. All depends. So you get a little bit of that going on along the sides there, and I think I'll just end it right there. And the way I've been doing it, I've been trying to make this look like it's painted, so I'm not painting the bottom of the block the same shade. I'm going back to like just a rusty metal here. And let's get something over the top here. How about a couple vents and maybe some things like that in the middle. Try to get to all these weird areas that are mostly invisible when you walk through it, but I do want them painted. Okay. So now the ceiling, I did kind of similar to what I did to the front of the ship and other areas of the ship. I'm just kind of, it's a pretty simple pattern, but I think it kind of looks nice, kind of over the top of things. Kind of makes it look like you're looking at kind of part of the flight deck, and it's all like chopped up and whatnot. So what I've been doing with the ceiling is this particular angled surface here. I've been going with extra dark, and I've been putting in like these vents, or this texture here. I'll call them vents. Well, kind of vents. And I'll just get all of those filled in there. Now we've got a gap in this section here, which looks a little out of place. Wonder if I should flip these blocks around here on the one side. I think I'm gonna do that. So let's turn these around, and I gotta make sure that I got it angled right so I can paint it on the right surface. So we'll go like that. I'm trying to make this particular thing look like a beam, where the rest of it kind of goes through the flight deck. But I got to watch it too, because some of these areas, if I see a hole, a gap that goes up into the ship like that, then I have to go over to steel and use a steel block for that instead of the carbon substrate. And then I'll rotate these so I get that texture right on there. And now we've got this center piece here, which probably looks a little bit better now, hopefully, maybe. I know it kind of lined this up differently. So anyway, I'll spray this part that way. And now on the bottom of these beams here, I'm going to go back to this other method here of doing the same thing I basically did to that piece of the floor. I'll paint it all with this texture first. Pretty much the whole thing here. Just on those edges, I might as well do that area too. I'll go across there for now, but that might get changed. We'll spray those up. Okay, then we'll do the replace method. I'll switch to alt color, get rid of some of the jaggy lines and things. Might add in some other textures into the mix too. Some smooth. Just kind of keeping it pretty random. And how about there too? Okay, so now we've got that in place. The back side of this, I go with a medium shade, and I'm not, haven't fully figured out what texture. I think, honestly, I think I'm just going to go paint it the same way as the other part of it. I think that'll look like they're more together. And why I say this this texturing takes a little bit is because you have to go over, like if I'm using this part here, I got to go over it a couple more times with all colors and things like that. And now and then too, I've got some of these shades of, they're kind of grayish brown, that I've got 3 different sets of that, so I can kind of do mix and match that into the mix. Most of the time I've been kind of doing that after the fact when I'm kind of tweaking things out a little bit. And putting an occasional metal piece too like that is not a bad idea either. It's just I'm trying not to have repeating patterns like what you see here. So maybe I'll do that one like that, and I don't know, you just kind of keep on messing with it until you finally figure out something. On these edges, I've been putting in these things to kind of make them look like it's riveted together a little bit, like because you see that little piece there that makes it kind of look a little bit connected. And that's kind of a standard on some of the ceilings in the ship, and areas of the ship have been doing the same method. Okay, so let's paint up some of this stuff. And here and there I am fluctuating the textures that I use on here, but with having two like they are right now, it's not really going to give me much variation on what I can do with it, or I'll have to repeat whatever I do, or it's going to kind of look a little out of place. So on the sides here, this would be a neat place for a texture light. Now what I've been doing with texture lights on this ship is pretty much using this one and this one for the Skaar, and that's pretty similar to the previous Skaar ships too. The problem I've got with like this light, it just looks too happy and bright for the most part. I put that in there and it kind of looks like it's, I don't know, different faction for the most part. It's not bad though, it fits well here. But I'll try what, and these don't particularly line up very well often. At night it doesn't look bad, but if you're looking at it in the daytime, it yeah, I'll keep it though, because you see, I like that look at the night. If I adjust the lighting so I'm not like having high intensity lighting pounding on this area, you probably won't see most of what's going on here, and you'll just see those texture lights, which is exactly what I kind of want. Now here, this might be a neat area I've been also using this wire texture in places on this ship. I kind of like it, actually. Certain places just kind of randomly sometimes. I don't know if I really want it there or not, but it does work. So let's do some walls now. Walls, let's do this bottom layer different. So I'll just do the rusty metal here on this part of it. See if I can try to line them up so the creases look alright. And I can still replace some of the rusty metal with smooth metal too if I really have a big problem with the seams. It's a little harder to tell with this because there's so much busy that you don't necessarily see the individual patterns as much. Yeah. Kind of see, I mean, so often though things aren't going to line up, and here and there it's just a good idea to put in something else too to break it up. Like let's put an event there for the heck of it. And this is going to be where those pieces are going to be, the health and O2 stations. So let's try to put something behind them, like maybe that, something like that. Now and then too, I haven't been using this a lot, well maybe for that area, but now and then I don't mind putting one of these kind either. But I've been trying to avoid like too much of it because it's kind of smooth and it doesn't look as gritty as a lot of the other textures. So on the ceiling, what could go across the ceiling? I could split it up too. I could try to do, like, I like this texture for Skaar too, but unfortunately, unless you're at the right angle, you're gonna get that, and I don't like that. So, you can try some of these too. It's like basically, I'm not ruling out any textures on this build. Like with the previous Skaar things, I would be like, oh, I don't want to use this texture, this texture, this texture, because I used them with the Creel or the humans or whatever. So I was trying to like limit my texture, limit the textures I was using on the creations on purpose, literally, to not have it look like the human. But this time, all textures are on the table, so I don't want to purposely limit anything. And I'm just trying to work with it, but as long as I can achieve the look I want, I'm okay with it. So here, I wouldn't mind getting some busy, but I don't like excessive repeating patterns like that. So what happens if no, that doesn't line up on these either, does it? And it won't line up that way either. Okay, so that's kind of not usable here. How about a couple of those there? Let's put I don't know, something different up top here. How about a couple of those? And I don't mind having some areas, you might have a wall that's kind of smoothish like this, but then nearby there'll be an area that's just really, really busy. with a lot of different textures and stuff. And I've been doing that on purpose. Again, it's kind of one of those newer tricks and kind of learning, mixing excessive, like choppy, detailed areas like this with smooth areas. If you have it all like this, it gets overwhelming, like it's too much. And if you have it all smooth, it's also too much. And just trying to get the blend of so much technical or this kind of stuff in with the smoother stuff is the goal I've been trying to do, at least. So let's what other texture could possibly work here? And this one's not even off the I'm not ruling this one out either. Like here and there I've got some of this in, not a lot, but once in a while it looks all right. All right, so and I do a lot of this. So what I'm doing right now, like floating back and forth, trying one texture, trying another texture, trying another texture. I sort of have a better idea of what textures are going to look good and not at this point after doing so much of the ship, but I still keep on doing that kind of thing. And this one I use frequently for this, and because it's like the only texture, well, one of the only textures that really rounds it off good. But I'm going to try that on that one there. All this little stuff kind of matters, like, and I've been fluctuating on what I paint these pipe things with too, trying different things. Sometimes a little of that, sometimes something else. Part of it's trying to just keep the chaos rolling in the ship too. Like everything, even when you're walking down here, since I'm really building around the outside hull plus all the interior stuff, it constantly throws me into these really awkward layouts for rooms and things like that. But I think it's kind of cool because it adds to the chaos, I guess, where it's like things aren't super, super well thought out. It's kind of slapped together kind of look, and everything is constantly in flux, and with like the designs and stuff. So there's a lot of that going on too. Yeah, actually I want to spray this area up with this there too, and we'll pop out a couple of those with something else. And how about put a vent back there and up on the top here. Yeah, I don't want to continue the red, so let's do a couple like that. Oops. Alright, so we got that area. But, I mean, when I'm first building it, it doesn't necessarily look super wonderful. It's the lighting that really has to set this off. So I gotta try to position lights in good spots with the right intensity and mix the types of lights together to try to get that look that I'm going for. It's kind of like some of the other engineering areas of the ship and things like that. Here I think I want to do something different though. I haven't put in any of this texture in the mix yet. So that kind of lines up to there, and so does that. So let's keep that part a little bit busy too. And how about here, we'll just do some old rusty metal. Alright, so now we've got our generator, the back of the generators. Oh good, I actually positioned these right. I can't tell with some of these blocks if I'm putting it in the way I can texture the surface or not. It's kind of like a 50-50 chance. How about something kind of universal down there? And some color accents I think would be kind of nice. It's really neat how this is working on the bottom though, where I got that nice smooth ring there. Which I was thinking about going with red. And I've got different reds here too, so I could try the rusty metal red here. Oops. Maybe, so we're gonna have to do a bigger area there, and let's put in maybe, should we do the whole area in red? Yeah, I don't mind that, but let's not do the insides in red. Let's switch these to something like that. Might as well just do it across the top or the floor there, okay. And we'll keep that lined up so it kind of looks uniform, but you know what? put in something different here. How about that there? Split it up a little bit. And how about some good old rusty metal? Well, how about that? How about that this time? Okay, so the thrusters, probably ought to paint those too. Or not the thrusters, the generators. Alright, so what is this sitting on? Just literally sitting on. Oh, that's the advanced generator right there. Okay, so I'm not painting that. I'm wondering, should I try to put in some lighty pipes there? I haven't done much of that. I don't know, maybe not. I haven't done it because it kind of looks a little strange. And I'm trying to keep this kind of, despite it being a really wacky design and idea, trying to keep it kind of, where you walk through it, it kind of looks like it's plausible despite being crazy. That's kind of the fun part about this, I guess. Tell you what, I wonder if I shouldn't just go to a different color here for the heck of it. Like on the other side of this wall, it turned brown-ish, or a little bit brown. I thought you'll ever see it, but that's also a advanced generator there, so we're not touching that one. See if I can get these to line up reasonably well. Okay, that's not so bad. Now in the center here, what could be here? Something busy would look alright here. Kind of busy, maybe something like that. Again, you can barely see this, especially with the lighting. Right now I'm shining a flashlight right into it, but it's just kind of, it's really about kind of making some shadows and stuff like that. Let's do that, and we'll just, yeah, that actually worked out. Oh, see, this is one of those areas where you get lucky, where it's just it lines up and it makes a cool pattern there. Kind of like that kind of thing there. What's this supposed to be here? That didn't work very well, and I had it smooth. Okay. Alright, so we've got a little bit of this done. Now, one other alternative thing, and I'll probably start to do that a little bit more, is rather than just metal floor like this, I also could go with this kind of raunchy carpeting that I've been kind of using this one, I think, with this tone for like a carpeting color, which could work too. I don't know if I want to do it here or not, though. Yeah, how about not right now? We've got a little open floor space. I'll try to figure out what to put in this floor space. Let me get a few more textures on the walls here, and then we'll try to light this area up better. That one actually works really good for that angle there, because you got a line that goes here, and it kind of feels right. I got another one of those here. What I did here too is this was just solid flat, because this is like going right out to the carrier here, but I had 2 blocks in the area that were full blocks behind this stuff, so I changed them on the inside. And I do got to get their texture lights back in here too, which I think I'm doing that there. Okay. Alright, so we've got a room area. I think everything's textured. Okay, so, oh, not this seam. I think this is going to join though. Where is it? Yeah, that's all going to be one right there. What do we put here? It's really nice to find a texture that kind of has kind of some seam divide on it. This actually doesn't look too bad there. Looks pretty busy. It looks like it's kind of works. Okay, I'm not too bad with that. Let's just do a little bit of wall. See if we can get these to line up any which shape or form. Get something back there. And that area just looks weak. I'm gonna just put some metal there and call it a day, I think. Alright, so lights. Let me get some of those rolling here. So often with some of these room spaces, it's hard to put lights where you really want a light. In this case, I do have a full 2 block ceiling here, though, so it's not so bad on this room. But how do I want to do this? How about we first let's try to put a light over the door, and let's try like one of those there. And this is like scheme 1. Usually I have to mess with the lights until they become looking reasonably well, the way I'd want them to. And you don't really know until you start lighting up an area on what you're looking at there. Now nothing centers over here, which bugs me. I can't put a light in the center because I'm doing a 2 block center again with the because this lines up to the generators. And I kind of want to put, I don't know, maybe what if I put a light like here and here, but I'm going to do something different with each one of those lights. Okay, so the 3 lights in the area, that's usually about what I like to keep it at. I don't want to put excessive amount of lights in one area. It's bad for performance. Lights are also really bad for size class, and something I'm trying to be mindful of the ship despite not really compromising because of it. But okay, so 3 lights. So at the first one here, let's have this one more of a gray light, and a spot. Oh, I guess it must have latched down to something already. So I'm going to lower the radius a little bit. I'm going to up the angle a little bit for now, and we got this kind of gray, intensity 2. Not much else there. So this one over here, I think what I want to do with it is we're going to make this an ambient light. And basically, it's not really an ambient light, but it's kind of, I'm trying to fake it out. So I'll turn off spotlight mode, and I'll lower the intensity down to 1. And then let's keep that one gray for now too. It's got, let's lower the radius down a little bit though, 15 again. Then let's hit this 3rd light. And this 3rd light, I'm going to keep in spotlight, and we're going to go to a red tone with it. Also lower the radius a little bit for now. And I'll up the spotlight angle on it. Now I'll turn off the flashlight, take a look at what the current lighting scheme is looking like in the area. Okay, I can already say I don't like the red here very much. It's a little too bright, and I got the red on the walls already. Let's make some modifications here. Let's lower the spotlight angle on this one a little bit. Let's take it back down to around 90-ish. So it's a little bit dimmer. This one here, how about instead of going with a gray kind of ambient light, let's try this in-between tone. So we've got basically the 3 colors I've been using for lights on the ship so far, besides the pool area, has been like this gray and this red and this kind of pinkish red, which is kind of, I'm trying to make it look like it's in between the 2 of those. And this sometimes works out, other times it doesn't, but I already think that looks better by changing that light, but maybe it's a little bit too intense in the area. So let's lower down the radius a little bit on this one, and I'm gonna shut down the range 1 more notch. And this one, let's also try to lower the range down 1 more notch on that one. Starting to look a little bit better. Kind of junky. I don't have much illumination on the ceiling in here. Here, let's try to do something with this light here. Let's try to, I'm gonna again increase the distance, but lower its spotlight angle another notch. Trying to get like a lighting effect coming across the ceiling and making like one area of the wall brighter than the rest of it. See how that works out. This is looking kind of choppy up in the ceiling though. I don't like that right now. Maybe it's this textures I'm using on the back here. Let's try to edit that a little bit. Probably some more rust metal, I think, might be kind of a fix. It's not really blending very well, but Looks like it should, but or is that just looking too dark? Well, I'll tell you what, we'll do that, and oh, you know what? That should have all been this other tone too. I had the color off a little bit where it was a little too dark. Okay. And you know what this could use? This is something I did in other parts of the ship, and it's just wacky, and I really liked it for some odd reason. I'm going to try it here too, but I'm not sure where yet. How about along this strip over here? So I've got this weird kind of brighter cream color that I've been using for some accents. So I'm going to just try to paint just that there and see what that looks like. Yeah, I kind of don't mind that. I wonder, maybe it should be uniform in this case, so maybe I should go and do this strip here too. Like that. Yeah, it's starting to get a little contrast in here. Again, I still don't like the red here though, so I'm gonna change that, and I'm gonna kind of mute it out a little bit so it doesn't stick out so much. Just trying to find a texture that doesn't. Yeah, probably the metal looks a little better there. Okay. And this area here, I don't like this corner. This does not look very good right now. It's probably because of this light here. Let's find a new home for it. God, where else could I put a light? I can use one of these offset ones so I can get it on square on one of the. Oh, not that one. Square on one of these beams here. It's just nothing's really going to line up because it's again a kind of a 2-block center here. And often I have to like not have lights in any particular format or order just to light up an area better, essentially. Okay, so this one, if I put it there, it needs a bigger radius. Oops, what happened there? Get rid of that piece. Oh, come on, where's the light? Can't see the cursor when you're looking at a light. There it is. Okay, so we're going to lower that back down, and I'm going to up the angle a little bit more. God, it's still not illuminating that back wall. So as long as I don't select anything, I should be able to go right back in the P menu and alter this, but it makes it pretty hard for you to see what's going on. Here, let's, God, that's a big angle now. Let's lower the radius. What I'm trying to do is get some light on part of this back wall so you can get that shadows going on. Still not quite there. Now there's something else too. This is a new thing, and I really like it. I've been using this too. Using some of these deco consoles, certain ones, not all of them, but this grouping from here. At least these guys here. I don't know about those yet, but these guys can generate light by themselves. And we got some generators over here, so I think that could be kind of neat to put in maybe some kind of display here. And so I'll paint the base of the display this default color again, and then I've been actually using this orange to paint the displays, and that kind of makes some light there too, sort of ties that other area in a little bit better. Still don't like that. It's still drab back over here. Not liking that yet. Let's try again with the light. This is why some of these rooms can take a long time, because I'm really frogging with a lot of this stuff over and over and over again until I get something that I'm happy with. And that's kind of part of it. Now, of course, I would love to use the old blue tones that I've done on so many other ships, but it looks out of place with this ship because I'm going for a warmer color scheme. And if I go to this kind of neutral, kind of blue-purple, it's sort of in between the two of the other ones. I like the look of it, and it works for humans, but it just does not work for the Skaar. It makes it look like something else entirely with that color light. So, yeah. And I didn't want to go with another red here. Now, one thing I could try, though, is try to go with a kind of a dank red in there, and then change one of these lights over here to be a whiter light. Like trying to get the 3 different colors in the area. So what if we go that route? A little too much red. A little too much red back in this area. Don't like that. I don't think you can undo light changes either, so keep that in mind when you're messing with them if you do this kind of thing. But no, I'm going to go back to that color there. And God, I think I really should go back to the gray here. I haven't used white. I think well, actually, I take that back. I think there's one white light over by the med bay. I was just trying to get a little bit more light on the area. Let's lower the radius a little bit more here again. Again, I really want this to pop, and it's not popping over here. This area is starting to, but it's not quite there yet. And pop, what I mean by that is like all of a sudden it suddenly looks good. It's like right now the lighting looks off, but in relation, let me go down somewhere else. And like this room here, I had the same issue with. But then I just kept on messing with the lights, and I moved lights around, changed their intensity and the types and this and that. Finally, all of a sudden, it was just like it just got the things right, and I thought the lighting just suddenly looked good here. And then I kept it. But this was probably frogging around for 10-15 minutes trying to put lights in this room and figure it out. And this area probably could use a little bit more work here too with the lighting. So that's kind of what I'm getting at with this whole lighting thing. And as you can see, this looks kind of drab. This looks way too bright with the white, probably because of the type of light I'm trying to do here. So I'm wondering if I should back off from the ceiling light and maybe try light from a different place again. Now we tried it with above the door here, and it wasn't bad. It's just not exactly what I want. How about an angled light? Let's try one of these, see what happens. Put in that there, and let's take its angle down a little bit. It's a little bit better. Maybe in this case it just needs something more going on here. I don't know. It's tricky stuff. All right. Well, anyway, let's add some more detail in here. Let's get into another layer and get into decals. So yeah, you're very limited in decals, and I so wish there was more and some angled ones and some pieces that fit together better, but there's not many. So what I'll do is just the little simple pattern. I'm really tired of doing this, but I do like adding some more detail to these rooms in any way I can, and this is, this is a method. So we got a square in the floor there now for no particular reason really, but it's there. How about some pipe thingies? So I put in one of those there. You won't see it on this one. No, that's going to look bad if I do that one. So I'm just going to undo that one. It's the texture. If you try to put a decal on this particular texture, it's always going to look bad. So you don't want to put a decal on that texture typically. Or you won't be able to see it from very many angles or something like that. It just kind of messes it up. Maybe what it's screaming for. Well, here, let's get these parts in here too. Let's put in medbay and oxygen. Or I'm not going with the full medbay here, just your basic stuff. And O2, I guess that is the best rotation there. Paint those in this shade. Man, this is still screaming for something over here. Maybe in this case, what it really needs is, man, if I had a display over here or something though, I think that would offset it. Like what's going on over here was over here, but I didn't want to put it in one of those two areas because I want to keep that open for the parts. And there's not really any other place to put one. Can I hang anything anything from the ceiling. Well, double block ceiling too, that's a pain in the butt. If this was a centered thing, I could probably put like a centered display above here and be okay with that, but what can we do? What can we do? And this is basically how every room goes when I'm building these things. It's especially on this ship, it's just like, yeah, try to get one room done at a time, you know, get it tweaked out reasonably well, and call it a day basically, and then move on to some other area until the whole thing gets complete. But I tell you what, I really, man, if I got one of these in, oh wait, we got this weird angled thing here. Can we somehow fit this in? It would, I think it would just improve the looks of this area so much if I could do something here. Man, what do you do? Nothing's gonna fit very well. If I put it up on the ceiling, it's not gonna center nicely. Oh, but it's screaming for something over here. Okay, another idea. Boxes. Boxes are super detailed. I do like the boxes. So let's try putting in a couple boxes in this area here. Maybe a variety. Some of that. Let's put in a bigger one. I do like this box. This is one of my favorites right here. And we'll just leave that one. I don't know. I guess we could put in something else there yet. A different one. So we got some boxes. So that looks a little bit more detailed because of the boxes. But now, can we put in some kind of display by the box? Maybe an inventory count or something. And again, why I want to do this so badly is the display actually adds light to the area. And that's what I'm looking for. So let's do that. Paint this orange there, and that kind of makes that mesh better now. Let's mess with the box colors here too. How about we'll do this one a little on the bright side. This one can be dark. This one can be red. There we go. Okay, so this part, I guess that's not super bad. Let's get a couple more decals in the area. Maybe door indicators or something, maybe a little dot there. What's going on up here? Could try a caution. It's going to be weird in this location though, but could try something like that there. So now I'm not so sure I like the double white line here. I didn't do double white lines on the other rooms. I only did like a single. It's not bad though. I'll leave it. I'll leave it. Okay, so what else could be possibly done to this room to try to add in any more kinds of detail? So we do have a little bit of a, I think that's an open block space right here. Maybe we can add in something there. Let's look around for parts. You know, something I haven't really looked into are the tech equipment deco parts yet. Oh, I really like this locker. Yeah, what happens if we try to put a locker or a lockers? It's got a little bit of room here. Could like do one there. Should I try like 2 lockers there? Oh, that's not a door. And then let's paint these a darker tone. Does that work? Oh, it's the first time I used lockers on the ship. I guess I'm not totally, well, I don't like the jog in the hallway it's doing, I guess. So, yeah, never mind. Never mind on those. There, at least. There's Not really any other place. Well, maybe a single locker here could work. Get it colored right. Too much red. Alright, so these two side pieces here, maybe those should be something else. Maybe you should, I'll try to keep it the same color for now, but try to get in some other kind of texture, maybe a vent. Or maybe I should go back into gray here. Like that, so that this part here is separate. Then you got a little bit of strip of red there, the two strips of white. Oh, and I got one of these fences painted wrong too. Okay, let's get those painted that way. And can we do something with decals on these angled pieces here? I think so. I think I can use, yeah, get a couple lines there for the heck of it. Or what happens if we try to do an angled line on one of these? Oh, that's not going to work out very well. So we want to go that route. It does look a little unusual though. Eh, why not? Alright, so this is pretty boring right back in this section here too. But other than that, I think it's just about tweaked out. I mean, this is the process of building out room spaces and texturing, at least with the style of this specific Skaar ship. And probably, you know, future Skaar creations that I do. I do like this this overall look a little bit better than what I had going on the previous Skaar creations. I keep on kind of looking back at them as reference and things like that. So I'll call the video here. I wanted to get like one room space done up, textured and lit, and try to get it to like fully detailed levels on kind of where I feel it's acceptable at this point in time. It might get some other tweak, you know, if I walk through here later on and suddenly think of something to do, I might just do it and try to add in a little detail. I've done that to a couple of the rooms I've already showed already too. Maybe in some cases, like I just added a vent thing there, and next to it I'll put in a different thing there, split up the monotonous of the all the rusty metal on the sides and stuff like that. But anyway, yeah, there we go. So I'm really happy. So I got something done too on the video, and that is to get another area textured. And each room like this probably is taken, you know, with between doing the block work and the lighting and the texturing and stuff, probably takes an hour and a half to 2 hours per room area. It depends how big they are, of course. And I've got a lot of texturing to do out in this section. I got a lot of areas to finish up over here too. But I think this will be kind of a interesting layout. And again, I'm trying to keep everything tight though. Central elevators, again, coming down right here, getting it everywhere. This floor is really not going to have a lot on it besides, I mean, for play function, besides being able to get to the flight deck at multiple different places through all these different shops and things like that. Or, well, hopefully will be shops here once I fill this area in. But, yeah, one more room kind of tweaked out and worked out. And there's one other step I'm going to have to do, and I probably ought to start doing it as I do these rooms. I got to get light sensors in, like, all over the place, because I'm getting a lot of light bleed through, and that's going to make it more difficult to see what the lighting's actually going to look like when I'm doing areas, especially if they're near other areas. Kind of like the problem I've got with the farm right now. I'm getting all this light bleed through from the hallway, and I was trying to change the lighting scheme in here, but then I had the red kind of coming through the wall. And I had at one point in time these lights a different color, and I was trying to go with like a green tone to kind of split it up a little bit, and it just looked horrible, just absolutely horrible. I couldn't stand it, so I got rid of the green for the most part, and I have to get back into this again and try it again, because right now I'm just not pleased with the decor of the farm area. Maybe the ceiling's a little too busy too, and the lights aren't placed right. I do have all the grow lights actually installed and on sensors already, or not sensors, switches. But yeah, there's that. Got to get back to this yet too, and I wanted to tweak this. I want this to look better than what it does, and once it does, I'll copy it. I think probably 2 more times, and have little hallways in between, and then this is kind of like a backing wall, and then this will eventually get out to this back large area here. So I have to figure out the walls and how it's going to be configured there. But you got a couple main drags going through here. On this floor, obviously, this is the main drag that's going to get you to all these different areas and past different buildings and stuff like that. And then, of course, below here on the hangar deck, you've got this catwalk that's kind of doing the same thing on the floor below it. So, yeah. Well, anyway, that's all I've got for today. Just wanted to kind of show you how I've been texturing this and how the work is actually being done, and I wanted to show a complete example at least of a whole room area colored and textured and lit to probably pretty close to the end specification of or how I would want it to be, with a release ship. So anyway, you all have yourself a great day, and I will talk to you later.